What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Side Connor. I am Connor. Today's video, we're going to be going over my picks, predictions, and overall preview of UFC Nashville, UFC on ESPN 70, UFC on ESPN Lewis versus Teixeira, whatever the fuck we want to call it these days. UFC really needs to come up with a better numbering system for these fight nights or something. I wish we just kind of went in a row and counted like all the fight nights. Like, I know we'd be at like UFC Fight Night 2346 or whatever, but I'd kind of prefer it that way. I don't know. There's just too many names for these goddamn things now. UFC on ESPN 70 is what they're mainly going with, I'm seeing. It's like, that's awful. And then you just see UFC on ESPN Lewis versus Teixeira. I don't know. That's too much. I don't know. Why can't it just be UFC 2000, whatever the fuck, you know? I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. This will be the UFC's first time in Nashville since August 2023 with Sandhagen versus Rob Font was the main event in that one. This is the UFC's 7th visit overall to Tennessee. I don't know. We need to spread the love more. Go to other cities, but regardless, Nashville, great city. So happy for them getting another UFC event, and it's a pretty good one. It's not too bad of a fight night card. I'm not the biggest fan of the main event, if I'm being honest. It's just, I don't know, heavyweights. I'm very down on the UFC heavyweight division right now, but it's okay. I understand. Put the heavyweights in the main event. Get more ticket sales. People love heavyweights. Love watching big dudes swing. So why not and just throw it on there? And then I think it's filled out. The main card, definitely. The top like 4 fights are excellent. There's some really good ones sprinkled on the prelims. Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis on the prelims. Really good fight. Mike Davis is on there in the prelims somewhere. Warren Murphy. That's your type of thing? Probably isn't. But anyways, guys, let's get into the full card then. I'm going to be going over the main card. So let's get into that. Of course, in your main event, Derek Lewis will be fighting Talison Teixeira. Derek Lewis coming at a plus 230. Talison Teixeira minus 270 here. Odds a little surprising to me. I mean, Talison Teixeira, he's looking good. I mean, obviously he's 8-0. Has one Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series win and then one win in the UFC. Thus far. Not really sure he deserves a main event or to even be ranked thus far, but that's just where we are with UFC heavyweight division right now and heavyweight MMA as a whole. It is just, we are in a bad spot with heavyweight MMA right now. So they are trying to build stars. So I understand why you would give Talison Teixeira this opportunity just off of one win in the UFC. Derek Lewis, also coming off a win, been pretty inactive this year thus far. He's getting older. He's getting up there in age. So, you know, Derek Lewis going to be slowing down more and more in the years to come, I'd imagine, if he even does continue for many more years. Of course, Derek Lewis coming off the big win over, God, who did he fight in his last fight? Who was that? That was Nascimento. Rodrigo Nascimento, where he got a TKO win. That was all the way back in May 2024, so it's been quite a while for Derek Lewis. Very long layoff. Derek Lewis used to be that guy that's fighting like 5 times a fucking year, but yeah, not anymore these days. But yeah, he's coming off a win, so that's good at least. Talison Teixeira coming off that knockout win over Justin Tafa from earlier this year, his first UFC win, his UFC debut. And it looked great in that fight, and that was a brutal fucking elbow. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a stand-and-bang fight. Someone's getting knocked out. More than likely, you know, hopefully it doesn't turn into one of those boring heavyweight fights where it goes to the decision and they're throwing like 5 strikes around. I doubt it will. I do think there's value here in Derek Lewis. I would not count him out, you know. Obviously, never count Derek Lewis out. How many fights has Derek Lewis been in where he's just gotten his ass beat for, I don't know, the entire fight and then knock the guy out in the 3rd round or knock the guy out in the 5th round or whatever? Never the 5th round, but the 3rd round for sure. That's definitely happened multiple times. Anyways, I do think there's value on Derek Lewis here. Obviously, I mean, dude, he has the most knockouts in UFC history, so he can knock out anyone at any point. And we really don't know how good Talison Teixeira is with how inexperienced he is. So yeah, I know the odds makers are leaning heavily towards Teixeira, and I probably would too, just considering Lewis's age and his inactivity as a recent. But I do think there's value on him. So if you wanted to bet on him, I don't think it's the dumbest thing in the world. But yeah, I would be picking Talison Teixeira probably by KO, and I don't know, 2nd or 1st round, I guess. One of those, I don't know, maybe he gets a body shot, who knows. But yeah, Talison Teixeira more than likely will get the win here, and I think that's good for the UFC. That's what the UFC wants. This card overall is kind of a you can kind of see it. UFC, as we get into the main card more and more, you'll see it's like UFC is trying to build some stars here, build guys off other guys' names, and that's just what they do. That's the name of the game, right? So speaking of the co-main event, then is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson coming in at a plus 325, Gabriel Bonfim minus 425. I guess you could call this a typical striker versus grappler fight. Not so much though. Gabriel Bonfim is known to stand and trade with guys. And I guess it would be very dumb of him to try to do that with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, of course, one of the most decorated strikers in MMA. So yeah, I guess that'd be a bad idea for him. But I don't know. I could see him trying to test himself on the feet for a few rounds. I don't know if he'll get caught on anything during that, and that would obviously be Wonderboy's opportunity to win there. Catch him with something coming in, or catch him on the feet somehow. But I doubt it. He'll probably look for takedowns. I think it's going to be a story of how strong are Gabriel Bonfim's takedowns, and then how good is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's takedown defense. We know from past history that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's takedown defense is not very good. But when you look at his record, it's like he's really only getting taken down by the top level guys. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns. Those are high level grapplers. And Gabriel Bonfim might be that high level of a grappler too. We'll have to wait and see. But, he's really only getting taken down by those guys. So I got to imagine even just fighting those guys over the recent years has improved his takedown defense dramatically. And maybe he'll be able to defend off some takedowns here and keep it on the feet and get a knockout or get a decision win over Bonfim. But yeah, I'd probably lean with the odds makers here and pick Bonfim. Wonderboy, of course, coming off that loss to Joaquin Buckley from late last year, where he was actually looking very good in that fight, I thought, and then he just got clipped at the end, clipped in that third round. I thought he was well on his way to winning the decision there, but, Joaquin Buckley fucking cracks, man, and he was hunting for him, and he got him towards the end there. Gabriel Bonfim coming off that decision win over Chaos Williams from earlier this year, which he looked very good. Oh no, it wasn't a decision when he finished Chaos Williams, I believe, with a choke. Let me double check on that. Yeah, he finished Chaos Williams with a Darce choke. So, that's very impressive in his own right. That's not a good sign for Wonderboy Thompson either. That Gabriel Bonfim, he is a high level submission artist, so we'll have to see with this fight. I would lead towards Bonfim, probably by decision, if I had to guess. And then that'll crack Bonfim into the rankings there. And then we're kind of off to the races with that. I'd imagine he gets a very highly ranked guy after that. Nice name. And yeah, we will watch him then try to climb the ranks. In the next fight, we got Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Calvin Kattar coming in at plus 100. Steve Garcia coming in at a minus 120. Calvin Kattar riding a 4-fight losing streak right now, all against like great guys. Steve Garcia riding a 5-fight win streak at the moment. So this is a great fight. Steve Garcia's opportunity here to crack into the rankings. Calvin Kattar is currently ranked 4 in the UFC rankings. And this should be a fun stand-up affair. I'm glad they put this fight together because this is going to be a fucking banger. Calvin Kattar, of course, coming off the loss to Yusuf Zalal, in which he did not look great in that fight. He got outpointed the entire time. Yusuf Zalal looking very good as of late. So I guess no shame there, but still, it's not looking great for Calvin Kattar right now. This might be his last opportunity here. Like, I could see a world where he gets cut by the UFC if he loses 5 in a row. Not many guys get that opportunity to lose 5 times in a row and fight for your 6th time. It's I feel like they're already doing us some favors by keeping him around this long, but maybe they also recognize the names that he has lost to as of late and kind of want to give him another chance here. Steve Garcia coming off the win over Kyler Phillips. No, not Kyler Phillips. Excuse me, Kyle Nelson from earlier this year, in which he looked fantastic in that fight. Got TKO win in the second. And yeah, like I said, he's riding that 5-fight win streak, so he's been looking great as of late. You know what win's looking really impressive for him still is the Chase Hooper knockout from, I believe, late 2022 is when this one happened, but that one's just looking more and more impressive with how good Chase Hooper is looking as of late. Obviously, Chase Hooper is still developing in his career, was very young at the time as well, and still only getting better and better. So who knows how that fight will go today, but that win is certainly an impressive one on his record. Next fight then is Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Cherie. Nate Landwehr, Nate the Train coming off. Oh no, excuse me. Nate the Train is at a plus 220, and then Morgan Cherie minus 260. I don't agree with the odds here. Morgan Cherie is a good kickboxer, but Nate the Train's a dog, man. And this is going in Tennessee. I don't believe it's his home. I don't think he's from Nashville, but I know he's from Tennessee, so it's his home state at the very least. So he's gonna be hyped up. Morgan Cherie gonna be fighting on enemy territory here, which is different for him considering he's from Paris, and he fights on all the UFC Paris cards. I feel like the UFC specifically signed him before they went to Paris the first time just to have a hometown guy with a name value like him. And going to be in enemy territory now, which is going to be completely different for him. Be interested to see how Morgan Cherie reacts to that. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of value on Nate the Train here. I could see a world where Nate kind of walks forward, walks him down, and just kind of squeaks out these rounds over Morgan Cherie. Morgan Cherie is a very good kickboxer, so who knows? He could clip him coming in, something like that. But yeah, I would, if I was a betting man, I would pick Nate Landwehr by decision. I would definitely bet on that. Take a look at that. Nate Landwehr is coming off the loss to Doo Ho Choi, and maybe that's what the odds makers are kind of looking at here. But Doo Ho Choi looked fantastic in that fight, so I wouldn't really hold that one against him too much. Morgan Cherie coming off the loss to Nathaniel Wood from back at the London card earlier this year. No real shame in losing to Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood, very fucking good. I'm very high on Nathaniel Wood, so not the worst loss in the world. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this one goes. Should be a banger though, so very excited for that fight. Next fight then we have Vitor Petrino versus Austin Lane. Vitor Petrino coming in at a massive minus 700 favorite. Austin Lane coming in at plus 500. Yeah, this is going to be Vitor Petrino's first fight at heavyweight in the UFC. Austin Lane kind of been around a little while. He's 1-3 in the promotion thus far. So this is definitely the last opportunity for Austin Lane here in the UFC. If he doesn't win this one, he's definitely getting cut. Vitor Petrino's last fight, he's coming off the loss to Dustin Colby back at light heavyweight. Dustin Colby, great kickboxer in his own right, so tough one there for Vitor Petrino, but we'll see if the heavyweight division treats him better here. There's a lot of these guys from light heavyweight moving up to heavyweight as of late, and some guys it seems like it's working out for, some guys not so much. Vitor Petrino definitely looking like a big boy at heavyweight right now, so we'll see how this one fares for him. Austin Lane coming off that brutal knockout loss to Mario Pinto from earlier this year, I believe, and he got flatlined in this fight, and he's turning around kind of quick here, which doesn't seem like the best idea. Yeah, Austin Lane needs to pick up a win here, or he's getting cut by the UFC for sure. Someone's getting put to sleep. That's all I know for sure. I would definitely put my money on Petrino if I were to bet on it, and probably by knockout, probably first round if I had to. And then your final fight on the main card is Junior Tafa versus Tukos. George Tukos. Awesome name. Junior Tafa making his light heavyweight debut in the UFC. Of course, his brother Justin Tafa up at heavyweight. They were both fighting at heavyweight for a minute there. Junior Tafa, I think he's 1-3 in the promotion, 1-2 in the UFC. George Tukos is 0-2 in the UFC. So yeah, George Tukos, he is definitely on the chopping block here as well. This will be his last opportunity, I'd imagine. Junior Tafa trying to kind of rewrite his career a little bit. He's looking really well in shape at light heavyweight here, and I would definitely lean towards him winning this fight. Junior Tafa is coming off the win over Sean Saharoff. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The guy had to make his UFC debut on like a week notice, and because Junior Tafa's opponent fell out, so yeah, they kind of just gave him some random guy, and he mollywopped him. And then, of course, Tukos coming off that loss to Navajo Sterling. And no real shame in that one, actually. Navajo Sterling looking like a good prospect at that light heavyweight division. So, not the worst loss in the world, but still on the chopping block here. When you're 0-2 in the promotion, you are kind of lucky to even get a third shot in the UFC these days. So, he is getting that third shot, but this will be his last shot. So, we'll see. I will Definitely lean towards Junior Tafa though. Unless you know, Tuco does have some submissions on his record, so maybe he gets him to the ground. You know, the Tafa brothers are not known necessarily for their takedown defense. They're definitely just more kickboxers. So maybe there is a world here where Tuco gets him down, gets a submission. Let's see it working out. Did he name himself Tuco after Tuco from Breaking Bad? That's my one question. Is Tuco, because it looks like Tuco is a nickname, you know? And did he go with the guy from Breaking Bad? Was that it? Was that the reason? I'm not entirely sure. It's a great nickname if it is. But if like someone, did his mother name him Tuco? I highly doubt that. Like his middle name, Tuco? I don't know. Sounds like a stupid name. Anyways, guys, let's not rank the card. Like I said, it is a good card overall on paper. This is the on paper ranking. Remember, in the post-fight show, we do a post-fight ranking, which is kind of more important, but I also like doing a pre-fight ranking just to rank the card on paper. I'm going to give this card a solid 6.9. Like I said, it's a good card. Main event, not the highest on, but definitely some great fights in the main card overall. The Wonderboy fight, that obviously adds a lot of value. Kevin Cater adds a lot of value. Nate the Train adds a lot of value. And then having stuff like Max Griffin versus Chris Curtis on the prelims also adds a lot. Mike Davis on there. A couple other good ones sprinkled out throughout the prelims. So yeah, I'll be watching the entire thing. I am looking forward to it. We only have 2 cards ranked thus far. So yeah, UFC 317 was, I gave it an 8.3. And now UFC on ESPN 70, giving it a solid 6.9. I think it's a solid fight night here. And then hopefully, you know, throughout the year, we will rank more and more. And we will kind of be able to put together at the end of the year what was the best cards and kind of have a definitive list of card rankings for before the card and after the card. And I like that very much. Anyways, guys, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Do all that shit for me. It really helps. And we will catch you in the post-fight video, guys, on probably on Sunday or Monday. See you then. Bye-bye.